Hello and welcome to the TLB review of Oath of the Gatewatch.
Yeah, we did our first set review of the different colors, and we were planning to revisit the set review and see how right we were.
Yeah, and we're going to begin with white.
Yeah.
White uncommons.
Yeah, and here we see both our uncommons and commons. We had the top 3 uncommons and top 5 commons.
Yeah. If you look at the uncommons, Wall of Resurgence.
I mean, this was based on we came from Battle for Zendikar, where white blue was a really good color combination, one of the best, top 3 at least. There, the 06 wall for 2 was a very high pick. You gum up the ground and you had the flyers and awaken spells.
Yeah, so
this looks like it did both.
Yeah.
So that's why we had it at 3.
It wasn't a bad card, but
no.
it just had no real home.
No, if this card had existed in the previous format, it would have been super good.
Yeah.
Because it worked well both with Awaken and the defensive part of white-blue.
Yes. And then we have Allied Reinforcements, which I still think is a good card.
Yeah, it's very good.
Yeah.
If you play 1,000 matches, you always get the same result.
Yeah, you're always happy when you play it.
And Immolating Glare was also based on both white-blue that liked being on the defensive, and also maybe white-black that might go for the long game. So that's why it felt like a clean
number one.
And it's still good.
Yeah, but it's I think we have changed our mind.
Yeah, it's probably not number 1 anymore, but it's still top 3.
Yes,
I think.
And if you look at the commons, we have on the War Cleric as number 5.
And that this was just based on it's a 2/2 for 2 that can gain life.
Yeah,
we compared it with the Cleric of the Forward Order from
you're right.
Origins, and at this moment we did not know how good Cohort would be.
No,
but we thought it might be pretty good.
Yeah. Then you have a Sky Climber and Scythe Masters. Both are,
based on
good cards.
3-drop Alice. It seems like they have some evasion.
Yeah.
And we still thought that Ally theme would be a part of the draft format, so that's why they're here.
Yes. Then as number 2 we had Searing Light, and this does not fit anymore. I think
it was based on that we thought there were going to be a lot of things you could kill with it.
Yeah, walls and 2/3s, and
if maybe white blue still was a really good deck and they were playing 06 and 04 and 05s and stuff like that this would be a way for aggro decks to get through.
Yep.
And so it's still a card you can main deck like 1 or 2 maybe sometimes, and you can board it in against.
Yeah, I still think it's an okay card, but it's not
number 2.
It's not number 2. And then a clear number 1, Isolation Zone.
We're probably still going to have that at number 1, but we'll see. We will flip over to our new
new improved list.
Yeah, and if we look at the list now, starting with the uncommons, we have switched Immolating Glare to number 3.
Yeah. Like we said, it's still a good card, but it's not the best white uncommon.
No, you're always scared of running into it, but it doesn't feel as present as we thought it would be in the format.
No.
Reinforcements is still solid on.
Yeah, I still think it's number
place.
2. Yeah, but we had a new front runner in Relief Captain.
And we had this card in the set review, and we said that if support gets there, this looks like it has the highest upside. Yeah. So we actually had a shout out warning.
Yeah, we did.
But we just it's hard to evaluate a new mechanic.
Yeah.
So
but I think it really came through.
Yeah.
The Relief Captain, I could first pick this easily.
Yeah. It's good in both sealed and the draft.
Yeah. And it fits so well into red white and green white.
Yeah, and both of those came. Green white support aggro was one of the strongest decks.
Yeah, I think so.
And if you got a Relief Captain in that deck and you just played it on curve, then all the loam larvas and whatever you have turns into good cards.
Yeah. And if you look at the commons, we have We have switched around a bit and put in 2 new cards.
Yeah.
So we had Shoulder to Shoulder as number 5. This could easily been another card.
Yeah.
But when you needed a Shoulder to Shoulder, it was a very good card.
Yeah, I mean, some of the decks don't want that card, but the decks that do want it, it seems like people picks it pretty high.
Yeah, I mean, it's good in black-white, it's good in red-white, and it's good in green-white.
It's best in green-white, I mean, but it's still...
And red-white.
Yeah.
Sky Climber is still number 4.
Yeah.
The Scythe Master is gone because it didn't really do what I wanted it to do. I mean, First Strike Attacker is always good, but it wasn't as good as we thought.
No.
But Sky Climber could finish games.
Yeah, it was still very good.
Yeah, and then we put in the Expedition Raptor, which was also...
Yeah, and I mean the placement of these now. I mean, it could be like the Raptor is on number 5.
Yeah,
we just put him in, but you were pretty happy playing 1 or 2 of these.
Yeah, I mean, as a top end ish in a low curve.
Yeah, and you could get in for like the 2 last damage in the air as well. And support really was a deck, so that's why we have put in more support cards.
Yeah, exactly. And then number 2 on the War Cleric
moved up a bit.
Yeah, it moved up. It was better than... I mean, we thought it was good, but it actually was better than that.
You need the good 2-drops. White Black was a very good deck. One of the best. And in that deck, together with the Vampire Envoys and stuff like that, you get synergy going.
Yeah, and just tapping this to gain 2 life. I mean, I always felt bad when my opponent played this and an Envoy out.
Yeah.
Getting 3 life each turn.
Until you actually start to do something.
Yeah.
So yeah, good card. And Isolation Zone is still the best.
Yeah. So we're gonna move on to the blue cards.
Yep, we are.
See you there.
Okay, now we look at the blue cards. During our review, we had Thought Harvester as number 3.
Yeah.
We both looked at the stats and the flying ability, and still we thought that the ingest processor could still be something.
Yeah. It turned out not. That wasn't really true.
Very seldom. I mean, sometimes it were.
Yeah.
But most often not.
Yeah, exactly. But it's still a 2 for body 2 for flyer.
Yeah, so it's never bad.
No. And then we actually had Roiling Waters as number 2. It's a powerful card.
Yeah. And in some decks it's very good, but since white-blue like control slow deck really wasn't a deck, and it became a bit worse.
Yeah, and green-blue was a deck, but it wasn't the most played one.
No.
I mean...
if you look at blue, I mean, blue-black, the Void is the best.
Yeah.
And then you have like random blue-red surge and stuff like that, but... Roiling Water sometimes is just too expensive.
Yeah. And then Cyclone Sire as number 1, which...
it's solid.
I still like the card.
Yeah.
It blocks pretty well, and when it dies, it has upside. So
it's nice to have a 3/4 against like Embodiment of Fury and stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Block their lands.
And as the commons, if you look down, we had Gravity Negator as number 5.
Yeah, and this was also like white-blue flying.
Yeah, we really thought that was going to be a deck, which it really wasn't.
No.
And I never really found a place for this card.
Sometimes you could lift the fad into the air, but, it's not as good as we thought.
No. And then you see Cultivator Drone and Dining Drone. We mentioned them, and they are good. I mean,
both of them are super good.
Yeah.
You need to get the colorless lands and the Hedron Crawlers and stuff like that, but when you do, both of them are very good.
Yeah. And then we had Containment Membrane,
which is fine.
2. Yeah, which is fine. And Sweep Away as number 1.
Yeah.
Which we were a bit off,
yeah,
I think.
It's more like number 5 or something.
Yeah.
It's probably not number 1.
No, Sweep Away...
It feels like a good tempo card.
Yeah, but it's the same thing with Roiling Waters. There wasn't really a deck for it.
No, it's better on the defensive.
Yeah.
And the blue-red search deck is more a tempo card where it's fine.
Yeah.
And since the white-blue defensive-based style deck really wasn't that good, Sweep Away went down on the list.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll see, look at our new list now. Okay, we'll see that if you look at the uncommons, we still have Thought Harvester as number 3.
And it's close between the Thought Harvester and the Rolling Water still.
We
have it in because it's never bad.
Yeah.
And Rolling Water can be bad depending on the deck.
Exactly. But a card we missed is number 2, Prophet of Distortion.
Yeah.
I have never been sad playing this card. It's good in all the blue decks, I think, because you always had the colorless mana.
Yeah, I mean, if you draft bad, I guess you could just end up with a 1/2 for 1.
Yeah.
But if you're playing the card, you hopefully have some color sources.
Exactly.
And the games tended to be a bit gummed up and a bit long sometimes, and then just drawing a card or maybe 2 cards every turn. I mean, there's no you can draw multiple.
Yeah.
And then the Prophet could win the game.
Yeah, exactly. And then I still think Cyclone Sire is the best blue uncommon.
Because it works in every deck.
Yeah, it works in every deck, and you didn't see that many strong flyers in the common uncommon that could kill it.
No.
So I mean it actually blocked, as we said, pretty well.
Yeah.
And if you look at the commons, we have switched around a lot.
Bit. Yeah, I remember the Jovar Isle Avenger. We had it on our list, but we forgot it.
Yeah.
So I mean, I still think it isn't like a 3/3 for 3 all the time.
No,
but it's still a good common.
Yeah, exactly. And then we put Sweep Away down a bit on number 4, since the card is still okay.
Yeah, and it is played in blue decks.
Yeah, exactly.
But you maybe you don't want to play like 2 and 3 all the time.
No.
But it's fine.
It's fine. And then Containment Membrane actually turned out to be a good card. I mean,
it's better in the defensive style decks, but it's still good.
I mean, being able to play like a creature and tap 1 mana to get something tapped down forever.
Plus, it's good together with blinding drones if you have them.
Yeah.
So I still think Containment Membrane is top 3.
Yeah. And then number 2 and number 1 we pushed up Cultivated Drone and Blinding Drone.
Yeah.
Because I mean
they are a solid base in all the Devoid decks.
And just getting past like number 6 pick Blinding Drone always meant, not always, but pretty much meant that the blue Devoid deck was open, because
and when you get them to work, they work as removal.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, we had a draft the other day where we only had 1 or 2 removal spells, but we had 2 blinding drones, and it just worked out.
Yeah.
So they are very...
Yeah, we won most of our games with like blinding drones and cultivated drones.
Yeah, you can just attack people for 2 and lock down their stuff.
Yeah.
So it's very strong.
Yeah,
so we'll move on to black.
Yes.
So this is our black review that we did.
Yeah.
And in uncommons we had... I mean, we were a bit unsure, but we had the Visions of Brutality at number 3. And
the card was... It is a good card, but it wasn't good in the black and white alley deck, because just being able not to block was
I guess
it
so could important. Be pretty good there if you get a lot of life, but I mean it's best in the aggro decks where you just want to win the race.
And the red-black aggro deck wasn't really good. The Devoid red-black aggro deck.
No, you needed to get the Flayer drones and stuff like that to make it really work.
I don't think I ever actually drafted the red-black.
I've done it once or twice, but you needed it to be open.
Yeah.
And you fight for the cards.
Yeah. Number 2, we had Malakir Soothsayer. I mean, the card is good.
Yeah, but we were higher on it than I think it turned out.
Yeah.
In the alley deck, it's still good, but it's a bit clunkier than I thought.
Yeah.
I mean, Cohort is good.
Yeah, but if you got the Soothsayer to work, it is a good card.
Yeah. But it's also a 4/4 that you would like to maybe be able to attack him.
Exactly.
And you can block with it, but you only you have to attack at some point.
Yeah.
And then it loses some of its value.
Yeah. And then number 1, Grasp of Darkness. I still think it's number 1. I mean, it
need
kills
double black, but
but it kills mostly everything in the whole set. I mean, of the relevant cards.
Yeah, and if you play it early, it should kill the thing you're pointing it at.
Yeah. And down to commons. I mean, we were a bit off here, I think.
Yeah, I remember we felt like black was pretty hard to evaluate before starting to play.
Yeah. We had a lot of cohort stuff and the colorless stuff, so I think we went the safe route.
Yeah, I mean, Witness the End, we were also thinking that processing still was a thing.
Exactly.
Which it can be. It's not a bad card.
No, Witness the End is a pretty good card, but it's not this good, I think.
No, probably not.
Unnatural Endurance, I still like.
Yeah.
It's one of the best combat tricks in the set.
Yeah, it's very cheap, efficient.
And then we have Kozilek's Translator.
Sometimes good.
Sometimes good, but I mean, I never... When I played it, the getting your colorless for 1 life, if you had a Devoid deck, you had other ways to get colorless.
But it's good together with like Essence Depleter and stuff like that, where you want to activate
more of them
multiple times.
Yeah, exactly.
So in some decks it's really good.
Yeah.
Tar Snare were a bit off.
Yeah. I don't even want to play it.
No, Hemorrhage at least you can throw at the head.
Yeah.
Tar Snare is more like a combat trick, a bad combat trick.
Yeah. And then, of course, Infinite Obliteration.
Oblivion Strike.
Oblivion Strike. Infinite Obliteration.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Oblivion Strike, clear number 1. I mean...
And it still is.
Yeah, it still is. So we'll switch and see what we have done now.
Yeah.
Okay, so now, if you look at the uncommons, I think it's hard, because Havoc Sower...
Turned out a lot better than we thought.
Yeah. But it's close between that and the Soothsayer, I think.
Yeah, depending on the deck, the
problem is that Soothsayer only worked in the black-white allies deck.
Yeah.
Havoc Sower was a good card in all the Void decks.
Yeah, and ally decks that have colorless mana play it too.
Yeah, exactly.
We think it's played more.
Yeah, it's played more. And then a card that we missed completely, I think, Essence Depleter.
Yeah, just because we didn't know how much colorless mana you could actually produce. But when you get that card to work, it can win by itself.
Yeah, I mean...
Draining for 2-3 every turn.
Board stalls, you have to kill it fast or you're dead.
Yeah.
And then Grassroots Orc is still number 1, I think.
I mean, sometimes you can have like 4 colorless mana and a lot of other lands. And then you can drain for 4 each turn.
Yeah, exactly.
And Grasp, when you have double black, I mean, it's very efficient.
Yes. And commons also pretty hard to see. I mean, Slaughter Drone...
Stalking Drone. No, Slaughter Drone. Yeah.
It traded very well since it had Death Touch most of the times.
It's a bear, but it's also... I mean, you can attack with it through board stalls.
Yeah.
And you can trade up.
Yep.
So I like the card.
Yeah, me too. Unnatural Endurance, still number 4.
Yeah.
Like
Turned
we said,
out very, very good.
Yeah, I think it was the best combat trick in the set. I mean,
it could even be better than the Shrieker. I mean, we put the Shrieker there.
Yeah, the Shrieker is... I mean, the thing with Shrieker that makes it so good is that you can pump it several times.
Yeah, I mean, yesterday we got attacked for 8.
Yeah.
Every turn. So if we have to kill it now.
Yeah.
We had to trade a sweeper for it. Otherwise, we would die in 2 turns.
Yeah, exactly.
So the upside is there.
Yeah. And then the second card there, you have Vampire Envoy.
Solid in every black deck.
Yeah, I mean, the thing with it is that it's flying 1/4.
So it blocks everything.
Yeah. And when you could get it to work with the life gain thing.
Together with the vampires, together with the white tapper guy.
Yeah.
I mean, it has a lot of synergy.
Yep. Good, very good in the cohort decks.
Yeah.
And then, as we said before, Oblivion Strike is clear number 1.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think you can play too many Oblivion Strikes in a deck.
People pick it over, I mean, almost every uncommon and a lot of the rares.
Yeah, so yeah, of course.
And it's easy to splash.
Yeah,
the white card is double white. This is just single black.
Yep. And the exile target creature, I mean, it's very relevant.
Yeah, it's very relevant in this format because some of the bombs you can face can actually come back.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll move on to red, I think.
Yeah. Okay, looking at the red uncommons, we had Bushwhacker at number 3. And I mean, it went in constructed, it is high playable.
Yeah.
And in some of the, I mean, red-green beatdown or...
Red-white aggro.
Yeah, and maybe red-black if you get that together. It's still good, but... and it is an alley, so yeah.
Yeah, the problem is there was no pretty much no token strategies in this, so you can never really go super wide with it.
There's not like the Dragon Fodder or stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly. But I still think it's okay.
Yeah, it's top 5 at least.
Exactly.
We had Embodiment of Fury.
Yeah, number 2.
And that's very solid card.
Yeah.
You're afraid when you play against it, and when you play it yourself and you draw land. I mean, then you're not sad drawing lands.
No, exactly.
So it's a good
And
card.
the trample thing was very relevant, actually.
Yeah.
And then number 1, Devouring Flames. Very good removal.
Yeah, the best removal red.
The best red removal, yeah.
So it's still number 1.
And you could actually get some things going with it. If you had like only one red land, you could play Devouring Flames, pick up the red land, and then play it again, and then use it again. I mean, there were some
sometimes
games
it
when
actually
that happened.
ramped you, or if you want to call it that.
Yeah.
Not and really. Sometimes, I mean, you don't want to play it on curve on turn 3 and you set back a whole land drop.
No.
But it killed a lot of things, and it also kills like a random Obnixilis or Chandra that you could face.
Exactly. So if we look at the commons, here we were super off with one of the cards at least. I mean, Sados Commando as number 5.
It's higher.
It's higher, but it was hard to know that.
Yeah, it's at least there.
But just, I mean, since we compared a lot to the Battle for Zendikar, and the 2-mana 2/1s, 2-mana 2/2s were bad in that format.
Yeah, I mean they were not as good. I mean, the first time we had it on the list because it has first strike.
Yeah.
We did not know how to value the cohort.
No, and the support, because supporting on this is obviously super.
Yeah, it is.
And then Cinderhelion,
still solid.
Yeah,
but it might be like top 6. I mean, it doesn't necessarily have to be top 5.
No.
Boulder Salvo, I mean, I remember we thought it was pretty expensive, and we did not know how often you would get to search it. When you search it, it's super good.
Yeah, I mean, the upside of playing like creature Boulder Salvo.
Yeah.
I mean, and still play Boulder Salvo for 5 mana. I've done that.
Yeah.
It's not the worst thing in the world.
No.
Spark Mage's Gambit as number 2. I don't know. I mean, I played this card.
I think we looked at it and thought that, I mean, maybe people play the 3 ones from the last set, and now the Skite Master
and the Scions. I mean, being able to kill 2 Scions could be relevant, I guess.
Yeah, and the Sky Spawner, but it doesn't come to that as often. It's more like a sideboard card.
Yeah.
Or if you're very aggressive, you could just ping the 2 faddies and attack for lethal. Yeah. It's not a bad card, but it's definitely not.
It doesn't make the 23 cards most of the times.
No, sometimes you just have it in your sideboard.
Yeah.
So it's wrong here.
Yeah. And then we have Reality Hemorrhage,
which we valued too high.
Yeah, I think we
compared it a bit too much to the Touch of the Void.
Yeah.
Which is, I mean, 3 damage and exile.
Yeah.
So it's much better.
Yeah, exactly. I still think it's good, but it's not number 1.
No, and sometimes you actually don't want it in the deck.
No.
I mean, but sometimes you get 2 or 3 of them and you maybe just main 1.
I have never gotten 2 or 3 of them.
Okay, I have. It's not as good as we thought.
No, maybe
but
not.
It's still decent.
Okay, so we'll see how we value stuff now.
Yep. And here we have a card that we actually missed out on. It's again the support card. So, but Press into Serve is actually... it's a good swing. You can often play it for the kill.
Yeah, mostly it was for the kill.
I mean, support 2 on like 2-3 power guys.
Yeah.
Steal a 4/4 attack for lethal.
Yeah.
It's not an uncommon play pattern for that card.
No, not at all. And if you look at the statistics, there's no statistics anymore, but we had it before, when you could see like the cards that were played that wins the most matches. I think Present to Service is one of the top in that.
Yeah, just because it's played that turn.
Yeah.
And then Embodiment is still
number 2, still a solid card.
Yeah.
And Devouring Flames.
Sealed and Draft.
Yeah. And then Devouring Flames still number 1.
I think so too.
But down in the common slots, we have switched around a bit.
Yeah, the Flame Seeker actually turned out a lot better than we thought.
Yeah, I mean, being able to not loot, but
rumblage or whatever it's called.
It was very relevant when you had the red-white aggro decks, red-green aggro
because,
decks.
I mean, we know that you flood a lot on Magic Online, and being able to cast away the card, discard the card, the land cards, and drawing, the hemorrhage for the win or something like that is very relevant.
And then we had put in Free Runner, the Goblin Free Runner.
You search it often enough for it to be a very effective menace guy, I think. So it should probably be here.
Yeah, and then we took down Reality Hemorrhage a bit. It's still good, but it's not as good as we thought.
No, it's
before.
not the best command.
No.
We moved up Commando a lot because,
it was so important in the decks that wanted it.
Very good to play on curve.
Yeah.
Very good blocker, actually.
Yeah.
And then the board stall games where you've gotten your opponent down to 5, they're stabilized.
Yeah, and ping.
If you have 2 of the commandos out, or just 1, but sometimes you have 2.
Yeah.
And you just shoot your opponent for 2 every time. They're dead in 2 turns.
We had one draft when we were on 8 life, and the whole game ended with him pinging us to death, basically.
Yeah.
And then we moved up Boulder Salvo. It's definitely the best red uncommon. Red common,
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
So we have green left.
Yeah, we have green left, and we'll move to that now.
So, looking at green, I think we were, pretty close with the uncommons, even though they might have switched order.
Yeah. Embodiment of Insight is a decent creature. It's a good creature.
Yeah, it's solid.
And the Vigilance thing was also pretty relevant sometimes.
Yeah.
Nissa's Judgment, premium removal turned out
by
to be...
far, since it supports as well, it's by far the best uncommon card. And Seed Guardian is good. Yeah. The green decks want to be able to defend against flying, and when you have Seed Guardian and Vines of the Recluse, then you actually can.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
I still think it's probably not as good as we thought, but it's good.
Yeah, and the reach thing was obviously very good. Going down to the commons, we had the loamiest of larvas.
Yeah, I wanted the Stalking Drone.
Yeah, you wanted the Stalking
Drone. And you
wanted
Loam Larva, but we were also thinking about maybe you really want to splash.
Yeah, Loam Larva is good when you need it.
Yeah, and it's actually pretty good in the white-green support deck because it fixes your mana early because there are a lot of double white and stuff like that. And supporting on it actually becomes a 2/4 and a 3/5 and so on.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's not bad, but it's bored. It's not better than Stalking Drone. No. We were off there.
Yeah, and then we had Vines, the second best, I think, combat trick in the game, in the set.
After Unnatural Endurance.
Yeah, they're pretty close, but I think Unnatural Endurance was a bit better.
Yeah, the element of surprise with untapping was very good in the beginning of the format.
Yep.
So then people learned more that
maybe
exactly. You just don't run out in your 4/4 bomb into their tapped 4/4 and just have it killed for 1 mana.
Yeah.
But it's still good.
Yeah. Netcaster Spider. Good creature.
But probably not top 3.
No.
It's very good against flyers.
Yeah.
But sometimes you don't even want to play it.
No, exactly. And then we had Path Warden as number 2.
Yeah.
It's a very good creature.
But in a draft, if you pass up on a Path Warden early, maybe for a 2-drop, you could get another 5-drop to replace it.
Yeah.
So it's not bonkers.
No. And then we had Science Summoner as number 1.
Yeah.
I still like it. I still think it's very good. But
it's still top 3, I think.
Yeah.
But we missed out again on the support theme.
Yeah.
Because as you see, we don't even have the Saddleback Legak.
No,
here.
and not the Saddleback or the Stalking Drone.
No.
But we'll see how we have switched them around now.
Yeah.
Okay, so we haven't switched around much in the uncommon slots.
But we wanted to mention the Birthing Hulk.
Yeah, Birthing Hulk is a super good card.
Yeah, the embodiment, you still play it every time.
Yeah.
Birthing Hulk.
Yeah, sometimes you didn't want the 7-drop in your deck.
No, but the card itself is very powerful.
Yeah.
it's very annoying to play against the 5/4 regenerator.
Yeah, and if you have like a green-black
in green-black it's very good.
Yeah, but it will never die.
No.
Sea Guardian,
it will never
die. We switched places with Nissa Judgment and Sea Guardian because Nissa Judgment is premium removal in this set.
Yeah, and as long as the format went on, black-green actually grew on us.
Yeah.
And Seed Guardian is good when you can fill up your graveyard.
Yep.
Because then you can trade it for something or just jump like a big guy and maybe get a 5/5 back or something.
Exactly.
So the Seed Guardian is still very good.
Yeah. And common slots, as we mentioned before,
we moved down the Path Warden a few slots, but it's still, I mean, very annoying to play against.
Yeah.
And very nice to have in your deck when you can curve. Maybe even play it on turn 4 of
the crawler.
A crawler or something.
Yeah.
It ends games very quickly if your opponent cannot deal with it.
Yeah, exactly. Vines still number 4, like we said before. It's efficient. It's efficient. The 1-mana combo tricks they were very good in this set. Science Summoner got bumped down.
But I mean, you play it in the random green something.
All the
green black, green something devoid, even green white support. I mean, if you maybe just play a 2-drop, if you play a 2-drop and then you play a Science Summoner, and then after that a Lagak or even the Relief Captain, then you have a lot of bodies.
Yeah.
And if you miss a 2-drop, the Science Summoner even
it
still curves perfectly into the Lagak.
Yeah.
So the Summoner is still top 3, I think.
And then, like we said, Lagak and Stalking Drone.
Yeah, we missed them.
Yeah.
I wanted the Stalking Drone, but none of us really talked that much about the Lagak because we didn't respect support enough, I think.
No. And just the thing, I mean, it was a 3/1, so we said, I mean, maybe we thought paying 4 mana to get a 3/1 out, it was easily killed.
Yeah.
But that wasn't ever a problem.
No, because if you just played it on curve, it's very good.
Yeah. And the Stalking Drone is just very good because it was good in the early game and it was good in the late game.
Yeah.
So if you drew it in the late game, it was still a good creature.
Yeah, because when you had a lot of Stalking Drones, you wanted to prioritize to take a few of the lands too, just because a 3/4 for effectively 2 mana is a good play.
Yeah. Okay, so that was all of the colors, and we'll talk a little bit about the format now.
Yeah, we just wanted to talk a bit about when we did the review, we came from Battle for Zendikar.
Yeah.
And there, I mean, blue, red, the void was probably the best deck.
It was the best deck.
And then you had like blue, black, ingest processing, and you had white, blue, flying awaken.
Yeah.
Those were the 3 best decks by far, I think.
And green wasn't even a color.
No, green, you couldn't play green.
Oh.
I mean, you could, but
it was bad.
It was off most of them. If you were alone on green, okay. But a lot of people even didn't bother.
No. No, most of the pros, as they say.
Yeah, they just didn't want to play it.
No.
Which I think is wrong, but...
yeah, me too, but still, just one color wasn't in the set.
And I like green the most, so I was a bit sad that it was so unbalanced.
Yeah.
I mean, then it actually turned out that now you could play every color pair.
Yeah.
And some of them were better.
Yeah, and the problem was that blue-white wasn't a deck anymore. Red-blue the void wasn't a deck anymore.
No.
Blue-black processor wasn't a thing.
No, it's more like just straight up blue-black the void.
Yeah, exactly.
And sometimes you get the upside of the processing, but you couldn't count on it.
No. I mean, cards like Mist Intruder, Benthic Infiltrator.
Benthic Infiltrator is still a good pick, but Mist Intruder went down a lot.
I mean...
Merc Strider.
Yeah, Merc Strider, you couldn't even play it.
Mindraker. All of those cards just went down.
Cryptic Cruiser, all of them. It was pretty sad that they had created so many processors that you couldn't even use anymore.
No, and I as I said, you could, but often you couldn't.
No.
And the decks like white, red aggro got a lot better.
Yeah.
Red, green aggro got a lot better.
Yeah.
White, green. All these. Now we're talking a lot about green. Those colors, those combinations didn't exist.
No.
So therefore, it was pretty hard to know that. Okay, do we give the cards that look good in green-white high?
Yeah, exactly. It was hard. I think it was hard evaluating, and looking back on it now, I understand why it was hard because the formats changed so much.
Yeah, which is pretty fun.
Yeah,
and it's good that they saved green.
Yeah, I think so
of some sort.
Yeah, and now we're looking forward to
Shadows over Innistrad.
Yeah, very much.
And we might just play cube draft or something.
Yeah, we're gonna do some cube drafts. It's a legendary cube. I don't like that cube much, but it's...
we could do one or two.
Yeah.
But otherwise we're actually just starting to work on our set reviews.
Yeah.
Because this is the re-review. Now it's time to review.
Yeah. So...
stay tuned. Maybe in a couple of days.
Yeah, I think so.
1 or 2 days we might get the white.
Yeah.
Set review going. And then hopefully we just get the colors.
Yeah, they released the full spoiler today, so we're not...
No, so tonight we just have to go through them.
Yeah. Okay, thank you for watching, and...
see you for the set reviews.
Yeah, see you, bye. Bye.